I can't believe we're at the end, but this is me going over my journey and how I've perceived my learning over the sense of the course. Um, as far as what assessments mean to me, I still find it really hard um, to define what assessments mean um, without referring to it as simply measuring learning. But the big thing is not so much how I define assessments, but how I approach using them. Using it more as a approach to how my students learn, and then based on how they learn, how I can aid them in learning throughout the course, which makes it a lot more flexible. Um, though I recognize, as I mentioned in one of my discussions, especially in chapters 9 and 10 of Alfie Kohn's Ungrading, that it does require a lot more work on my part. Um, but what's more important, work for me or my students learning? So that I thought was very useful. Um, as far as the course objectives for um, this course, I feel very confident that I feel like I reached them. My only concern is what it's going to look like when wheels hit the pavement, because I feel confident, but who knows what that looks like. And as of right now, I don't have a lot of lingering questions. I'm sure I will as I put these new skills into practice. Um, as far as the growth over my portfolio, three big factors led to my growth throughout, not just the portfolio, but throughout my time in the course. Foremost was the feedback I received from my group. Two was actually seeing my group's work that they themselves turned in and the feedback that they were given. And then lastly, how the assignments were laid out linearly throughout the course that allowed me to go back and reflect on what I had already gone over and then make changes as I learned and grew myself. I'm especially grateful for Diane, Casey, and Nimi. You guys all asked such great questions that really helped me either one, think critically and make the changes I felt that were necessary, or to stand my ground and to cite why I believe my decision was appropriate based on my own lived experience, or even using the cited works. As far as the activities that really resonated with me, first and foremost, ungrading, I think I've quoted that the most so far in this video, has been the most beneficial and the most resonating to my own experiences as a dance educator. It answered questions that I never knew I had and gave me answers to questions that I long since had. It also allowed me to recognize instructors who actually had this approach, and I didn't understand, I didn't appreciate them, and I don't think I would have based on the fact that I wasn't teaching as long as I have now. Secondly, one of the biggest challenges of the course was just letting go of things that were really just familiar to me. For example, rubrics. I have often used rubrics to help measure learning and goals for my students in the syllabi. And I don't think they're bad. I still don't think that they're bad. But as mentioned in the book, rubrics can be a really lazy way to tell students why they're not good enough, as opposed to using feedback, consistent feedback, as the way to justify why you want them to push harder towards the goal of learning that you might feel is appropriate as a teacher. Getting towards the 5-minute mark, so let me kind of go through the rest of this. The activity that I found the most fun, ChatGPT. I've never used AI to aid in as a tool in my own teaching. I have only heard bad things about it, people using it to cheat, so I've never wanted to use that. But after being assigned to use it, it's wonderful. And I am excited for the myriad of ways that I can choose to use it as a tool in my own practice. As far as points go, I have looked through all of them, and though I'm pretty sure I did everything, I think I might be missing 1 or 2 points in that. That doesn't matter. I know that I did everything. I really enjoyed using the point system to help keep track of my assignments. That way I knew of what I did and what I didn't do. It's still hard because points still mean grades to me. But when you make them 1 point, then for some reason it's easier for me to think that they're not, like, I'm not gonna die if I don't do it. But it still makes me understand that I have to do it. So I love this. I look forward to using this approach in my own practice. Badges. I loved the badges. I thought it was a really great way to scaffold how I give feedback to my peers. And I've never used badges before. And I love how I use them and then learned why we use them as I continue to read Ungrading. I also enjoyed having the opportunity to give custom badges. That gave me so much more autonomy. And I've read Daniel Pink's Drive, so I know how autonomy leads you to overtime to mastery, and regardless. Lastly, as far as badges I received often, depth of knowledge, creativity, and then a few custom badges. But I believe most of those were due to the fact that I'm a little novel in the dance education program, as I'm probably the only ballroom dance instructor. And so, who knows, but I still really loved that activity. Here comes the hard part, the part that I don't love, grading myself. I mean, if it was on paper and I went by the points, I did everything, so I feel like I deserve an A. Um, I guess on paper that would make sense. Internally, I feel like I grew a lot and I was so excited by this course. And I can see and reflect now about how I've grown throughout not just my time as here in the course, but throughout my practice as an educator. And so by that, I want to give myself an A. The only thing holding me back is feeling guilty over wanting to give myself an A, or maybe I didn't ask good enough questions. Maybe I wasn't helpful to my peers, which I don't think they feel that way, but I feel that way. So, regardless of my own hangups, I want to say I want to give myself an A. If you feel differently, you let me know, George. Other than that, thank you for this course, and I've appreciated my time here. Over 5 minutes, I apologize, but this is for you. Thanks.